Hello, and today we're going to look at how I put on the Wild West signage, in this case a post office, onto my Wild West building, which is from Great Escape Games. It was a barber's kit, but I'm going to make it a post office. Now, I've primed my building with black, as I normally do, and then I have sprayed on what I class is going to be their wood effect, and I used an IDF Israeli Sand Grey from Vaello. Now it is a primer, but as I've already put a primer down, I'm going to use this as just the wood effect. Now the signage I'm using is a post office, which comes from the Sarisa Precision website. Now they do MDF buildings, etc., for the Wild West, along other things as well. But they do a free download of signage for the Wild West buildings. Now, I've used a lot of these in the past. You just get a template similar to this, and you can cut out and choose whichever one you want. So this was on normal photocopy paper. Printed out on colour, obviously. So first of all, obviously I cut the sign out and I've measured it roughly against the building and cut out as much as I can that I don't want to use. Now you'll see that the planks of wood on the Great Escape Games plastic buildings is lucky enough to kind of have the same kind of size as the Sarisa printout. So what I'm trying to do is line up the edges of the plank of woods with the edges made on the print. So I've wetted my old brush, which is solid because I've used it before. It's, you know, if you've got a softer brush, that's going to be better. But I've watered it a little bit, wet it, and then I'm going to just put in the PVA glue, which I am using an Evo Stick general purpose PVA glue. I've had this for years, but it's great for basing. All that kind of stuff, and all of that's been used purely on models. And then I'm just literally going to paste it all over the piece of paper, the back of it obviously, and make sure there's plenty on there, because it doesn't matter if it goes over the edge when you put it onto the model, because it goes transparent and you've got time to wipe it off before it all dries anyway. So I put a fair amount on because I want to soak it. It makes it more flexible, and the reason for that is because the sign itself is not a poster. It's supposed to be people painting it onto the wood, and therefore I want to crease the paper into the moulding of the building itself. And to do that, I just want to make the paper a bit more soft. Okay, again, it's nice to be precise, but it doesn't have to be exactly spot on, because this is the Wild West. They weren't exactly so precise on things. So here we go. There you go. So it's always good to do with clean hands. Now, on this occasion, my paper has gone too wet because I had some wet on the table beforehand, and I should have cleaned it down, so remember that. So there you go. Now, because again this is supposed to be painted on, I'm going to spend time, don't wipe across because you're going to tear the paper, but if you just dab on the piece of paper onto the model, push down, make sure your hands have not got glue on them, and then hopefully that will mould into the creases of the planks. Say the colours I use, you might have different ones in your collection, so it's up to you what you want to do. And then I shall let that dry. Now, as you can see, the colours are slightly different. I think the post office sign is a bit lighter, but to be honest, when it's on the I can always put some highlights onto the wood around it to make it blend in a little bit more. And to be honest, when you're looking from a tabletop point of view, when you're wargaming, you're not going to tell that much anyway. And that's basically it. I shall put on another video on in a second when it's all dry and after the highlights, and I'll show you that. Thank you. And here is the final product. So the glue is dry, and I've highlighted. When I say highlighted, I've added in a bit of red leather from Vaio into the RDF Israeli sand primer to make a kind of a reddy colour to go with a little bit of the paper transfer that I had for the signage. And then I also added a bit of AK Interactive mid-tone green dots. This is from their Vietnam range, AK 3025, and just added a bit of green here and there to make the wood look a bit old and decaying, so to speak, aging, let's say. So yeah, I mean, from close up, you can still see the boundaries between the paper signage, and there is a slight colour difference, as you can tell. But it's you could highlight a little bit more on the plastic around to make it the same colour. But from a distance, on the tabletop, you're not going to tell that much, to be honest, because you'll be looking at it from that angle. And yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's satisfactory for me anyway. To round it off, here are the other buildings that I've done using the same technique from Sarissa Precision templates. You can download for free from their website. Okay, this one I just pure red, as if it was painted red, not just the white painted on. That's for the saloon. Here's my dry goods and clothing. Now, I did actually hand paint the Howard Johnsons on myself, and also the barber's comb and scissors. Hence why I ended up doing the Sarissa Precision templates, because my handwriting's not great, or painting. Here's the general store, again with my hand painted Louis Johnson. There's the post office that I've just shown you done. And there's guns and pistols ammunition, gunsmiths again, from Sarissa again. Just putting a white border on. I could have darkened it to a deck tan maybe to get to the same colour, but I think it stands out a little bit more like that, so I'm happy. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hopefully come with another video soon.